From the young lady, please go ahead. Oh, I remember you also from your dance moves earlier. Yes, I do. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon to our excellencies, the President of Rwanda, Mr. Paul, our Deputy President from our lovely country, Kenya, Mr. Rigathi, the Minister of Tourism here in Rwanda, and the UNDP representative, together with everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Ramina Paulette. I am a 16-year-old climate activist and an environmentalist from Kenya. And I am an environmentalist from Kenya. Yesterday, we were invited, many youths were invited by the UNDP for the Youth Connect Climate Summit. We even made a proposition statement for the youths towards climate action. Rwanda has become a green hub in Africa. How can this model be replicated in most of the African countries, making sure in the process we create jobs for youth? This is a question for you, the President of Rwanda. Now going back to our own Deputy President, Mr. Rigathi from Kenya, with the new presidency, what is your take on the representation of youths and children in such conferences, like this Youth Connect Climate Summit, and even the ones that are organized in Kenya? For the climate finance, there has not been more transparency on where these climate finance are being delivered. They're not being accessible to many people, most especially from the local grassroots. For me, I am taking the lead towards climate action by advocating for the restoration of Lake Victoria through doing cleanups, using water hyacinth to make products such as this, that creates a livelihood for women and youths in Kenya. Another question that I have, it's now for all the African leaders present at this room. You're going to be part of the climate negotiations, but it's time for us to style up and to advocate for loss and damage finance. For Africans, we have been on the front line of the climate crisis. When it comes to the media, the global media, Africans are not being taken seriously. Our things that are not being covered, like we had floods in Sudan, in Sierra Leone, it's not being covered. For the negotiations, we are not being taken seriously. It's time for us to make this change. And it starts by you, because our voices can only be heard by you and not by any other person. We depend on you. I'd like to take a climate clock to you, together with Ina Maria from Namibia. Yeah? Okay. Taking to the MC.
What's happening? What is this, your countdown?
This is the climate clock.
The climate clock, all right, thank you. Okay, so the climate clock reads 6 years, 282 days, 3 hours, 10 minutes, and 49 seconds. Okay.
So this is for the loss and damage. We still have this year so that we can take part in the climate reparations and advocate for the climate solutions to be taken seriously. Thank you so much.
Woo! Young lady, you are phenomenal. You're 16, shouldn't you be writing your O-levels or something? I mean, you're amazing. And if I had not given her that opportunity, can you imagine the relationship between me and God right now? But thank you for that. I will hand over now to your excellencies.
I consider this more of a statement that was being made to us.
Absolutely.
Rather than a question.
Yeah.
So we will treat it like a statement. A statement emphasizing certain things that need to be done, come the climate change conference coming, or issues to emphasize, and so on and so forth. I don't think really there is any question to answer other than reassuring her Well, first of all, I'm glad she realizes that this is not just an easy process or an easy thing for which you find a solution in one day. However, we have listened to what she has said, and so many like her have said these things very loud and clear in different places, whether in New York at the UN General Assembly or different capitals of developed countries. And it's important that these statements, these voices continue to be heard. So it is on our duty, however, when it comes to us in these interactions, in these meetings, in these conferences, to be able to articulate our positions, taking into consideration those points she has raised, whether it is the climate financing or different activities that people think are unfair or result into the kind of injustice that has been so much pronounced. We can only say we have listened and we have heard these messages before. We understand their importance, and we shall also try to play our part among so many other actors that are out there.
Thank you, sir. I think that's enough for the acknowledgement and the recognition of that and the commitment that you've been heard, right? Thank you so much. I mean, you came with a whole presentation. Thank you.
Policies. What kind of policies do we have by having this platform, bringing together partners and also the youth themselves to influence policies that His Excellency, the Deputy President, was talking about, taking their rightful place? It is about policies. What kind of policies do we have in our countries? And so the policies is a major element. Besides being a document that we keep in a fold and you keep it in a shelf, it is a policy that should be implemented and put into place. And those policies are youth-friendly policies that are putting them at the forefront of the development agenda in our countries, but also having them participate fully. And having 30 countries, we follow up through the hub, the Youth Connect Africa hub, that is hosted in Rwanda, but coordinating 30 countries. We follow up and working with them what kind of policies and learn from each other. The best policy in the Republic of Kenya can be replicated in Rwanda, or the best policy in government of Rwanda that is implementing can be implemented in Zimbabwe or Liberia or any other African country where we're implementing and beyond. The second one is programs. Also, the policies influence programs that we have. And in these programs are youth-friendly programs, especially in skilling the young people with the relevant skills that they need. Also having opportunities on entrepreneurship skills and employability skills. But above all is the dialogue, the intergenerational dialogue. We have seen Your Excellencies, your leaders, the leaders, your colleagues, taking it up. After this meeting, when they go back, they organize intergenerational dialogue, which is a platform that bridges the leaders and the young people. And they listen from them, and they understand, and this dialogue helps them to influence the kind of policies. The third is to expand partners. We started in 2012 when we had only about 4 to 5 partners. Now we have more than 50 partners. And the same ecosystem that we have in Rwanda of the partners that we have that are influencing in the policy spheres of influence are the same that we are building at a country level. So the Youth Connect country chapter in a country that has launched it, we create that kind of ecosystem and network that supports young people so that we avoid duplication and wasting resources, but instead we create linkages and we have more economies of efforts by producing and doing much more. So post the summit, we follow up. We have many young innovators that are here that are also got awards. We have Youth Fellow, Youth Connect Fellow, of like-minded young people, a network of more than 100 young people that are influencing and change makers in their community. But also different components of Youth Connect are implemented at the country level. So when we meet at the summit, we listen from each other. What have you been doing and what else can I do? So when they go back, they also implement.